Texas is pulling out all the stops to get Arch Manning to Austin. And will Texas be back in 2023? Stay tuned. Let's talk about it. What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Coos, coming to you once again with another episode of Coos' Corner, where I serve up college football and even a little college basketball content to you as often as I can. I try to get you a video out every day. If you like that kind of stuff, hit that red subscribe button if you haven't yet. Give me the thumbs up if you like this specific video. Check me and my colleagues out at the Coast to Coast CFB Network on Facebook and on Twitter. Links in the description box. Now let's get on with the show. So Texas is pulling out all the stops to bring Arch Manning in for the 2023 season. Arch Manning, we all know, is the number one recruit in the country for the 2023 class. He has narrowed his school list down to 4. Texas is among those 4, along with Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. So what is it Texas is doing? They're looking to bring in David Cutcliffe to join the staff in an analyst role. Who is David Cutcliffe, you ask? Well, for those of you who don't know, most of you serious college football fans probably know who David Cutcliffe is, and some of you this may not even be new news, but to some of you, it may be. David Cutcliffe was the coach at Duke from 2008 to 2021. He compiled a record of 77-97 at Duke with a 35-79 record in the ACC. That may not sound great, but you got to remember it's Duke, and Duke has historically been a basketball school. Their football program before David Cutcliffe got there was an absolute dumpster fire. They may have been one of the worst FBS football programs in the country. David Cutcliffe brought them back. He brought Duke and made them competitive in football again. Actually got them to 6 bowl games and even got them to the ACC championship game during his tenure. So he made Duke consistently competitive, at least on the football field, which they had not been prior to him becoming their coach. Prior to being at Duke, Cutcliffe was a head coach at Ole Miss from 1999 to 2004. Compiled a record of 44-29 there. Was 25-23 in the SEC during his tenure. According to reports, he had one losing season at Ole Miss, and the AD there asked him to fire some assistant coaches. He refused to do so, so they let him go, and along with his coaching staff. But before that, David Cutcliffe had been an assistant coach at the college level for multiple teams. Most notably, he spent time as an offensive coordinator at Tennessee during Peyton Manning's days. And oh, by the way, during those years he coached at Ole Miss, he had Eli Manning as his quarterback. So he has coached both Eli and Peyton Manning, and it's been said and reported that both of those guys think really highly of David Cutcliffe, and they used to work with David Cutcliffe during the offseason. He's been known as he's basically been their quarterback coach that they've worked with throughout their career. He's known as a quarterback guru, and the guy's just a really good football coach and a really knowledgeable football coach and a really good quarterback coach, and really does a good job working with quarterbacks. So the thought behind Texas bringing him in is, hey, you know, the Manning family are really close people, and if they can bring David Cutcliffe in, that would go a long way in getting Arch Manning to the University of Texas. Now, what will that do for the University of Texas? Well, first and foremost, if he goes to Texas, which I honestly think this would help, because like I said, the Manning family and David Cutcliffe are like this. If they can get Cutcliffe to Texas, get him on staff as an analyst, and get Arch Manning there, does that mean Texas will be back? Well, I think so, and here's why. Number one, Quinn Ewers is going to be under center for the 2022 season. He's a highly touted recruit, one of the highest-rated recruits of all time. Left Ohio State, entered the portal, ended up at Texas. Quinn Ewers, if he's as good as advertised, he will be the starting quarterback for the 2022 season and then again in 2023. Well, after 2023, if he's as good as advertised, he will likely go to the NFL after that, and which means Arch Manning would have a year of sitting behind Quinn Ewers if he doesn't win the job, and then he could step right into the starting quarterback role, and then Texas could have arguably 5 to 6 really good seasons with great quarterback play if both of these guys are as good as advertised. And I think that would really help Texas and put Texas back on the map. Steve Sarkisian bringing in a lot of veteran. Looks like he's trying to bring in a lot of veteran coaches in on his staff. He's already brought Gary Patterson in to be a defensive analyst. If he adds David Cutcliffe to this, he would have over 40 years of coaching experience on his staff as analysts. Think about that. Think of all the knowledge he would have to go to every single Saturday to game plan. I mean, he would have two guys that you could arguably say were better coaches than he is, giving him advice and helping him put together game plans every week. I think it'd be a home run move by Texas. As bad as I hate to see it, because I do not like Texas and I do not want to see Texas back, but we have to admit, college football is more fun when Texas is good, at least to most people. Maybe not to me, because I'm horns down always. But to most college football fans, they want to see Texas back, and they're going to the SEC. It would definitely help them in the SEC if they've got Arch Manning behind center. So I think it's a great move. I do think Texas is on their way back. I don't think they're going to be back in 2022. I think it'll take them at least one more year to get Steve Sarkisian's culture built there. But getting Quinn, Ewers, and Arch Manning there, both of those guys there in back-to-back years, would be home runs in my opinion. And like I said, you'd have your quarterback starters for the next 5 to 6 years established, and then you would have to just build around those guys. This is probably old news to many of you, but I wanted to let, for those of you who hadn't heard yet, it looks like Texas will potentially be hiring David Cutcliffe. It was first reported by Chris Hummer of 24/7 Sports, and it's since then been reported by several other media outlets. Looks like there's a good chance Cutcliffe will be in Austin as an analyst on the Texas staff next season. It will be interesting to see if that does indeed get Arch Manning to Austin to play for the Longhorns. Well, let me know what you think in the comments section. Do you think Arch Manning ends up at Texas? Do you think this is a good move by the Longhorns? If you're a Longhorns fan, what do you think about hiring David Cutcliffe? Do you think this is a good move? And Texas and non-Texas fans, do you think Texas will be back in 2023? Or heck, do you think they'll be back in 2022? I want to hear your opinion in the comment section. Guys, if you want to support Couz's Corner financially, help me grow my channel, you can do so in several different ways. You can join my Patreon page. You can join YouTube memberships by hitting that join button right underneath the video. You can just make a one-time contribution to PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. All those things are appreciated. Like I said, if you can't give, I totally understand. You can support me for free by subscribing, hitting the like button, or leaving comments. All of those things help that YouTube algorithm and help get my videos promoted out to more people. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. I really appreciate your support, both financially and non-financially. Thanks for tuning into this video. And until next time, Q Country Roads.